Hello, welcome back. My name is Andre, former chef of 10 years in New York City fine dining, retired for 2 years because I had my kid. Now I'm bringing you a new video. It is going to be my magnum opus, the best idea I've ever had. The idea is to create a business for content. Mind blown, right? Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex Hormozi, Daniel Priestley, name them and you're watching them in the business, podcast, content creator space, influencer. They have realized a long time ago that businesses should create content to promote their products and services. That sounds really boring and forced. Restaurants, if they're one thing, they are not boring. Every single day is something exciting. Whether it's on one hand of the emotional spectrum where a client is super pleased and the table ordered a bunch of stuff, all the way down to like, oh hey, our dishwasher didn't show up because he got shit-faced drunk, and now I, dad, chef owner of the business, have to go and do dishes. Not fun. So, the full gamut in between. Restaurants are very entertaining. So my idea was like, what if I create a restaurant and then that restaurant, its entire purpose for existing is to create content. Has that been done? Usually the other way around. You create a restaurant because you want to create community, you want to create hospitality, you want to serve good food, and media and content is the afterthought. The best restaurant that does this right now that I'm aware of is Fallow. They're a British fine dining who make amazing content. It's basically in the category of how-to videos, how to make French sauces for fish, all the classic sauces, how to make the mother sauces, how to roast, what's the best cut of beef. It's like how-to videos and ranking videos. And that's really it. I mentioned this to you earlier that in the food space, there's basically two paradigms. The competition, reality TV thing that you see on the Food Network. Some kind of Gordon Ramsay competition, some kind of Chopped, Bar Rescue, or Hell's Kitchens. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the Joshua Weissmans of the world. He dominates YouTube with how-to videos. How to make burgers, how to make burger buns, how to make ketchup, how to make pickles. He's really good at it. But they're essentially that niche. And there's nothing in the middle. If you look at the content space, if you were to ask ChatGPT or a big YouTuber, what is the category of content that is the most likely to be monetized? That is financial content. How to start a business, how to go from 0 to 10,000, how to go from 0 to 1 million. Here's how to change your life, just watch this. Or like Alex Hormozi, Layla Hormozi, Daniel Priestley, Gary Vaynerchuk. They're all talking about financial literacy. I'm an avid consumer of their content. That's the stuff I've been listening to for the last 2 years. That's why I'm so goddamn pumped. Within the omakase restaurant, within the gelato concept, there is going to be a built-out department that is going to be made out of 1 or 2 people. They're going to be something the equivalent of college students, people who do photography, people who do content creation, who have YouTube, Instagram skills. Somebody who knows how to structure videos, document them, make them entertaining, post them, and understands something about YouTube, Instagram metrics, or the algorithm, right? Nobody really knows what the algorithm is. It's the matrix, not the metrics. Their entire purpose is to document and record content for the restaurant. They will eat, breathe content. Whether I have to buy an expensive camera for them or not, I think that many restaurants overlook content. For them, it's an afterthought. They come to content like, oh, let's hire a media company, let's hire a content creator. And there's always bringing somebody from the outside to do a small spree, whether it's a menu rollout, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas, New Year's, whatever kind of promotion they're trying to do. And then they put it on Instagram and that's it. They have enough photos and content to post for a very shallow, thin schedule. So maybe twice a week they post something. They continue for like 6 weeks because then they run out of content. And they pay thousands of dollars for this. And I'm like, just hire a dude, give him free food. He's not part of front of the house or back of the house. He's his own department. His job is to just record and document and photograph everything that's going on and then work with ownership and the chefs to create the content so that it reinforces the brand. The 2 buckets of content that I want to focus on, the first one is the most important for me, is Instagram. Instagram will be the gloss of the restaurant. What do I mean by gloss? I mean it's supposed to show, at least for me, I want to work in restaurant niches where I can charge a high price point because the thing that we're offering is a very high quality. Let's use the omakase restaurant example. It's expensive, it's fine dining, it's high check average. You have to make a reservation well in advance. You have to pay a flat fee for the whole thing. You're eating there for 2 hours. I need to communicate with you that when you're on Instagram, all the photographs are beautiful. The ambiance is beautiful. All the customers look great. The food is amazing, the layout's amazing, everything is amazing. And Instagram is the most direct way that I want to be able to communicate with my customers. And that one will be in Spanish. Remember, if you've been following or watching these videos, I talked about learning to speak Spanish for a very long time, not because I want to talk with Paco the porter and tell him how to fix a light bulb or to not show up drunk in the morning, but it's because I'm going to be moving to a South American country. There, the Instagram is going to be in Spanish. Everything we do on Instagram will be to promote food, upcoming menus, to promote seasonal changes, or something for a holiday, or something for a special event. Or the point is just whatever the business, whatever that's happening to the business that is very relevant to the customer experience, it's the first thing I want them to see, fall in love with, be intrigued, and then be prompted to book a reservation. Where does YouTube come in? YouTube is all the behind the scenes between reality TV and competitions and how to rank the food. I want to fill the gap. If I'm recording the day-to-day experiences of what it's like to operate a restaurant like an omakase place, there's obviously going to be a lot of friction and things that go right and things that go wrong, lots of stories to tell. Because we're recording on a daily basis, there's going to be a reality TV aspect to it. And when I say reality TV, I don't mean scripted. I mean just the reality of doing the thing on a daily basis. We want that part of it. The competition side I want to avoid because I think it's super tacky. The how-to will still be featured, but it's not that interesting to me personally. I don't want to do a how-to of how every single food and sauce that I make in the restaurant is made. The stuff in the middle, that's super exciting. How did we open a business? What was the idea behind our interior decor? Who do we call to do their interior decor? What was the conversation with the interior decor? What are the costs involved? How to read a P&L for a restaurant? Where are we winning? Where are we losing? Why do we hire X amount of staff? How do we build out the restaurant the way that we did? How do you construct a menu? How do you do plate cost? How do you properly do inventory? Do you need to do inventory, or should you focus on a food waste log? What are the SOPs? Who do we source from? Who's the farmer? What's his name? So much content in there. Infinite content. And that's the point. That's what I want to do. And I think that aspect of the business is going to be the most lucrative. Because at the end of the day, the omakase spot will always have a cap on how much money it will make. Any restaurant will always have a cap on how much money it will make. What does not have a cap is intellectual property, something like content. You make the video once, anybody in the world can see it. The point is the content can scale infinitely beyond the restaurant. And with that, YouTubers can tell me, if you have enough of a content base, subscribers and average viewership across videos, you can start monetizing off of ad revenue. Second way, do some kind of sponsorship. Somebody that's aligned with your core values that will sponsor your video. Third way is you sell direct to customer. So my customer base, I sell them merchandise. I sell them a course, how to open restaurants responsibly or financially, how to improve margins. You get the idea. Moving forward, if I'm ever involved in restaurants, in the restaurant biz, especially if I'm opening them from scratch, my goal will be to have that small media department that I can grow. They're gonna be on the books, they're gonna be a paid salaried person, and their job is just create content. No matter how slow or small we start, the focus will be on Instagram, which communicates to the customer directly, and it's all gloss and quality and luxury, and then YouTube is the how it's made. I haven't seen this really happen successfully or on the scale that I personally envision. I think that so many businesses and companies are just like really forcing the issue. They're just like bombarding you with advertising, or their content is shallow and vague and boring. There's no connectivity. It's not a consistent educational through line, and that's what I want to have. I want it not just to be entertainment and to showcase how silly and bombastic I can be, or serious and stern when I have to be. I want it to show you how it's done, because you're going to be there, because you'll see it through the camera. And I hope that's a fun takeaway for you. Have a good one.